Hi, it's Andrew with the Andrew Miles Project. I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to do kind of an album review, but not really. And everyone will talk about if you came up to me and asked me who my favorite guitarist was or anything like, who's your favorite guitar player? A lot of my friends would say, "Oh, I know that. I know what Andrew likes. He likes Eddie Van Halen." True, I do like Eddie Van Halen, but the one guitarist I will fall back to and listen to, and he's still my favorite guitarist. And people give me a hard time. I know one guy that would give me a hard time. Is Eric Clapton. So Eric Clapton, British guitar player, bluesman, um, great guitar player, great performer. He doesn't perform that much anymore. He's got neuropathy really bad in his. I don't know if it's his legs or his fingers, which that'd be a nightmare for a guitar player. But let's do a little background in Eric Clapton, a little bit, not major. Let's see, and to mention about what album I'm going to be talking about mainly before I get done with this is his residency at the world famous Royal Albert Hall in London, England. Um, he's actually played the Royal Albert Hall more than anybody ever has. He's has residencies there. He's played countless shows there. You can't even keep count. Actually, over 200 shows he's played at the Albert Hall. Um, he's more famous for playing the Albert Hall. There's two bands that he was in. Well, he was in Cream. They played their farewell show at the Albert Hall in '68, and which we won't get to. He said he doesn't remember the show. He said it wasn't a great show. He doesn't really remember the show that much because he said he was on some kind of mind altering substances, but it was the late '60s. Um, so him playing the Albert Hall, it all started in 1964 when he was in the Yardbirds, and that was he quit the Yardbirds and played the Albert Hall with the Yardbirds. He left the Yardbirds because the Yardbirds were becoming too pop. He wanted to be more of a blues guitar player, bluesman, and all that. So, anyways, he joins the John Mayall, who's famous in England for being a bluesman. He joined a band. It's called the John Mayall's Blues Breakers. He was in that group from '65 to '66. Left that group. Then all of a sudden, from '66, he was in a band called, everyone knows, the supergroup Cream, with Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker. Jack Bruce on bass, lead vocals, and background vocals. Eric sang too. Ginger Baker, the world famous drummer, Madman, Ginger Baker on drums. Then he got bored with not bored with Cream. My opinion is he left Cream because he was tired of what was going on between Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker. Jack Bruce, if you don't know, and Ginger Baker did not get along really that well. Ginger was kind of, everyone calls him a crazy person. If you ever see the documentary Beware of Mr. Baker, check that out. You can see the true madness in that man. So Cream played their farewell performances at the Albert Hall, and in the '70s, Clapton was, to be honest, the only really good album I really cared for in Eric Clapton's '70s is the world famous song everyone knows is Layla, and that album is on Layla and other assorted love songs. Great album. Great. Layla's was great. Got Dwayne Allman on guitar. On Eric Clapton kind of went a little bit country-ish in the '70s with Derek and the Dominoes and all that. It's like some of it's okay, some of it's not. It's hard to say. Like Eddie Van Halen was asked who his favorite guitar player was. He said Eric Clapton, but he liked Eric Clapton up to Cream. After that, he said he just quit listening to Eric Clapton. So, but he was a big influence on Eddie Van Halen. But another thing we're going to talk about is Eric's substance abuse problems, which was mainly in the 70s and early 80s. He was a heroin addict, cocaine addict, and alcoholic. He got off the hard drugs, but he was still battling with alcohol. And I think the 24 Nights album, which the album Journeyman came out before that, which had songs on it like the song Pretending, Bad Love, Running on Faith, which is one of my favorite songs. But after that, he started playing at the Albert Hall. He did a residency at the Albert Hall. So when Eric Clapton played the Albert Hall, and this album was taken from 24 shows in February and March of 1991 with 4 different band lineups, including it had a full orchestra, which was led by Michael Kamen, the conductor. And it was just a great show. They'd have different nights, like one night would be blues night, rock night. Where is it? There was two, it was mainly rock, then they had a blues night, which was, I'm reading more of the definitive 24 Nights, which came out in 2023. That's over 90 songs on that CD, best of. And there was 2 discs. Let's go, okay, let's start over. Disc 1 was rock, disc 2, rock, and disc 3 was blues. Disc 4 was blues. Then we got disc 5 and disc 6 at orchestral. And he played there in February '91 with a 4-piece band, which that band he used for his backing band was bassist Nathan East, drummer Steve Ferroni, and keyboardist Greg Filingons. I can't pronounce, I'm probably saying his name wrong, but oh well. And backing vocalist Katie Kassoon and Tessa Niles. And then he came out with a blues band, which was, it featured Johnny Johnson on keyboards, Richard Cousins on bass, Jamie Oldacre on drums, plus with special guests, the legends Buddy Guy and Robert Cray. Great bluesmen right there, Buddy Guy. If you don't know who Buddy Guy is, you must be living under a tree, under a rock. For the orchestra nights, they were with a 9-piece band and he was joined by the National Philharmonic Orchestra, and it was conducted by Michael Kamen. and that's a big deal. I mean, if you ever watch it, if you ever want to watch this, it's on the whole concert or setup is on YouTube. That's where I've been watching this, you know, doing my research. But yeah, so Clapton and some of the songs that I liked, well, it drives my wife nuts. What I listen to sometimes is "Running on Faith," which was wrote by Jerry Lynn Williams. Um, they have some Cream stuff. He did a lot of cover songs too of Cream. He did "Badge," which was written by Hillman George Harrison. "White Room," which was wrote by Jack Bruce and Pete Brown. "Sunshine of Your Love," and all, you know, and disc 2 of the Rock Night. I'm just doing right now. Now I'm just doing the regular CD, which I've listened to, which has over 15 songs on it. The one song that's really good is on disc 2 is "Pretending." You can almost see here. It's this concert was marked as his finally, I think, being finally sober, completely sober from anything in his body, minus cigarettes. But he was a clean, sober Eric Clapton. If you watch the concert, the guy looks good, man. He's dressed up. He's really dressed up. He's wearing on one night he's wearing an Armani suit, and then on orchestral night he is wearing a tuxedo. Everyone's dressed up in the group. Everyone is. It's a great show. Orchestral night is one of my favorites. It's good. Of course, on disc 2 of the CD is "Wonderful Tonight," which is one of his 70 songs, and "Bell Bottom Blues," which it's one of my favorites. Yeah. But I don't know. It's wrong. It's a great album. And then after 24 Nights, you know, you have all right, let's talk about the guitars that Eric Clapton used in 24 Nights. I know that he was using Stratocasters then, and he still does use Stratocasters. He quit using Stratocasters. No, he quit. Sorry, he quit using Gibson SGs and Les Pauls in the late 60s and early 70s. He switched to Fender. He would play Telecaster too. He played a Fender Telecaster with the Yardbirds. And his 2 main guitars are world famous guitars. They're like world famous more than Eddie Van Halen's Frankenstrat guitar, the red with black and white stripes on it. The one guitar is Blackie, which is basically a black finished Stratocaster, and used a blocked tremolo bar. He didn't use a whammy bar at all. He never did. He used a blocked bridge. And the other guitar is called Brownie, which is basically, I don't know what year exactly. I want to say 59 Stratocaster Sunburst. They named Brownie, which he no longer owns. He auctioned them off for to raise money for his treatment center in Antigua, which he does they still do the Fender concerts to raise money for the Antigua recovery place, because he's sober. You know, he wants to help others get sober too. Sadly, after all these concerts, in March of 1991, Clapton had a son named Connor, and sadly, by accident, Connor fell out of a 59-story building and passed away. And what gets me about this is how Clapton didn't go back to drugs and alcohol. He spent a whole year down in Antigua to heal, and he didn't go back to using drugs or drinking or or anything like that. He chose to bury his head in the music. And what came out with that, well, he wrote a song for his son called Tears in Heaven. Everyone knows that. And everyone knows Tears in Heaven from the Unplugged concert series on MTV, which was one of the first ones. He was the first ones to do that, to make it popular. And it's another great concert, but I do like the 24 Nights series concert CD album. But yeah, so yeah, if you ever get a chance to listen to 24 Nights, give it a try. Give it a try. All right, this is Andrew Miles Project, trying to do an album review. Hope you liked it. If you do, hit the like button, share my videos, comment. Feel free to comment. Who's your favorite guitar player? In the comments below. What's your favorite? What was the best concert you ever went to? Why don't you say that too? I wish I could have seen Eric Clapton in concert. But his tickets are probably not the most cheapest ones on the market when he does play. Luckily, I did get to see one guitar god back in 1998, and that was Eddie Van Halen with Van Halen. Gary Sharon was lead singer, but still got to see Eddie Van Halen play. But yeah, I always regret not to be able to see Eric Clapton in concert. So, and again, this has been the Andrew Miles Project with a review, kind of sort of review, new at this, so just wanted to get it out there. I haven't put out a lot of video out in a while. Been busy. Hope you enjoy this. Now it's time to edit this video. All right, talk to you later. Bye.